This is BBC One, now a royal celebration as the Queen marks her 80th birthday. Sophie Raworth is live at Windsor.
Welcome to Windsor, where thousands of people have gathered in the streets here around the castle, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Queen. The party has been going on here all morning, and there's not long to wait now until the main event begins. In just a few minutes' time, the doors to the castle will open, and the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh will emerge to meet the crowds. They are all here to wish her well on today, her 80th birthday. And we are in prime position here because we're having a party of our own, and there, as we speak, the Queen emerging through the King Henry VIII gate with the Duke of Edinburgh by her side and the band of the Irish Guards about to strike up. Now meeting outside the King Henry VIII gate, she's meeting Mr. Philip Wroughton, who is the Lord Lieutenant of Berkshire, and he is going to be introducing to the Queen some of the young people, the youth groups who've come here this morning to meet her. Now the Queen this morning is going to be carrying out a walkabout of about 45 minutes, we're told. Now there she is meeting one of the many members of the youth groups. She's got the Boys Brigade, the Girls Brigade, the Scout Association, the Guide Association. And of course that will have particular significance to her because she joined the Girl Guides in 1937. She was just 11 at the time, and she became a patrol leader of the first Buckingham Palace Guide Company. And today she's going to be presented with a photo of her in her guide uniform and also of a teddy bear. And as you can see, the crowds out here on Castle Hill and down Thames Street, 8, 9 deep. People have been waiting all morning to catch a glimpse of Her Majesty on the day that she has turned 80. There, from the Boys Brigade, another souvenir, another memento for her 80th birthday. Now we're told that the Queen was not terribly keen on having too much fuss made about her birthday celebrations today. She wanted to keep it fairly low-key. So this walkabout is going to be the main public celebration of the day, and then later on this evening, the private celebrations begin. A wonderful moment there for these children. There are many more lining the streets this morning with plenty of bouquets for the Queen. The crowd started arriving here this morning at about 7 or 8 o'clock. Only one man who actually managed to sleep the night on the streets, a man who apparently the Queen will know by sight, the Union Jack man, they call him. And you can hear behind her the band of the Irish Guards, who will be accompanying her as she does her walkabout this morning. They've got 13 different numbers, including, I'm told, Barry Manilow's Copacabana. And there is that photograph of the Queen as a girl guide. 20,000 cards have been received so far for the Palace for the Queen on her 80th birthday, and 17,000 emails as well. And we're told that the Queen is going to try and acknowledge every one of them. And now she begins her walkabout. The Duke of Edinburgh at her side, the Duke who himself is going to be turning 85 in June. And they will be out here on the streets for a good 45 minutes, accepting the cards and the well wishes of all these thousands of people who've turned out today. And to give you an idea of the route that she's going to have to take today, she's going down Castle Hill towards the Queen Victoria Monument, crisscrossing as she goes, trying to meet and greet, talk to as many people as she can. There are plenty of school children who've come from schools all around the Windsor area. A wonderful moment for them. So, as the Queen continues her walkabout, let me introduce you to the party that we're having here, just around the corner outside the castle walls. We have here Alan Titchmarsh, Wendy Richard, Rolf Harris. Now, you've all had personal and private meetings with the Queen, haven't you? So, you've plenty of stories to tell for us this morning. We also have another national treasure, I suppose you would say, Laurence, Llewelyn-Bowen.
And I have here a luscious and almost baroque birthday cake, which I'll be sharing with some ladies here, all of whom have interesting stories. But a cake fan herself, Fearne Cotton, is in the crowd.
I hope you save me some cake, please, Laurence. Now, here I am, as you can see, just outside Windsor Castle, in the crowd. The atmosphere out here is electric. It's like a party. How are we doing, guys? Yeah. We're all good. Now, we can hear the cheers getting louder and louder, so we're pretty sure the Queen will be making her way round to this little area in just a bit. I've never been up close and personal to the Queen before, so I've brought along with me my camera phone to get a picture of the Queen and then have it as my screensaver. It's very exciting. I'm going to be chatting to the crowd a bit later on, but I'm just going to hang here for now and try and spot Her Majesty.
Alan, wonderful, wonderful scenes here today, aren't there?
Amazing. It takes just an occasion like this, in the same way as the Golden Jubilee, for everybody to come out and show their appreciation, their affection and their admiration, I think, of someone who, in my lifetime, has almost always been there. I was born in 1949, so I saw, well, from a very pram, the old king, but then, you know, the Queen, I was 4 when she was crowned. And so she's always been there. She's offered stability, strangely, I think, to all our lives, just by virtue of her presence.
She really seems to be enjoying herself, Wendy, doesn't she?
Oh, I'm pleased she is, and everyone's so pleased to see her. I think it's fantastic. It really is. And we've got a nice day for it all as well. The children, they're all just so thrilled, aren't they? It's lovely.
Apparently that's what the Queen said yesterday. She was asked what she would like for a birthday gift. And what do you give the Queen? And she said fine weather and a bit of sunshine, which is just about what she's got, Rolf, isn't it?
It's getting better by the moment. I tell you what, that smile is just wonderful, isn't it? When she smiles naturally and totally at ease, and it just lights up the day. It's just wonderful.
And every single person she talks to will never forget it. It's their moment. You know, they will remember it forever. And you can sort of be terribly intellectual about it and say, oh, who needs a queen? But she brings special, and we're a bit short on special nowadays, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Alan, I mean, you've all met her, haven't you, both publicly and privately? I mean, you had an extraordinary lunch with her not so long ago, did you?
I did. I helped to plant a tree on the Isle of Wight at Osborne House, and found myself seated next to her for lunch, which at first was a bit daunting. I didn't know I was going to be sitting next to her. I looked at the name tags and I saw mine, and next door was the MP's wife, and I looked at the next person. It said, Her Majesty the Queen. Right, fine, well, this will be okay. No, I'm sure I can cope. You know what he would have thought. It was absolutely charming. And she turns one way for one course, the next way for the other. Well, I got the main course, and we sat next to one another for an hour and a half, and I wondered if there'd be tricky moments. there are moments of quiet pauses, but the Queen is never embarrassed by silence, and then she'll tell you a story, or it's just the most charming lunch, and she's ferociously good company and very funny.
And people always talk about her humour, actually, don't they? I mean, the thing about the Queen, I suppose, is that there's very little information that comes out, is there? I mean, very few people will actually disclose what the conversation was about.
And that's the thing, I think, when you are taken into her confidence, and there were moments during this lunch where I felt I was being taken into her confidence, and I wouldn't betray that. I think the greatest pleasure and pride in life, and certainly in meeting the Queen, is being able to keep her confidence. But there were things you can, let slip. I mean, remember, you're not supposed to touch the Queen at all. One doesn't touch her. But I do remember a moment where I felt her hand on my forearm as she was telling me a story, and I thought, oh, well, the Queen's touching me. That's rather nice. It was just very relaxed. It was lovely.
Wonderful sounds in the background, as you can probably hear. The curfew tower bells, which are being rung, and they're going to go on until about 12:25. This is a tradition. They are traditionally rung on the Queen's birthday in the morning and in the evening. But on this occasion, because of this walkabout, the bells are going to ring for a shorter time this morning and then ring again tonight. Now, Wendy, tell us about the moments what you remember from the Queen, meeting the Queen, what it was like.
Well, when I went to Buckingham Palace to get my MBE in the year 2000, in November, it was really the best day of my life. It was so exciting. I mean, Alan knows what it's like. And I was so nervous, I just talked rubbish, because she said, so I believe you're in a soap. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, it's EastEnders. I don't think you'd like it. It can be very depressing. So she went, oh, dear. So I said, but it sells well abroad, brings in a lot of revenue for the country. She said, oh, that's good. But it was just fantastic. Really was a wonderful day. And I had a wonderful party afterwards. We had loads of Union Jacks hanging up and cross for St George, and it was an absolutely brilliant party, a wonderful day.
What is it, though, about these occasions that, I mean, they move you, don't they? I've seen that already this morning.
I know, I shall be crying again in a moment. Because look at these people, they love her. And they're pleased to be here, and they're so thrilled that she is here.
Don't cry me yet, Wendy.
Sorry,
I need you in the programme. No, it is wonderful. And Rolf, your thoughts?
Well, Wendy's just saying that getting the MBE, when I got my MBE, you step forward and the Queen pins it on, and she talks about your life, and she's done her homework. It's incredible how much she knows about what you're doing, and you're quite amazed. And my wife and daughter were in the audience. My daughter was 4 or 5 or something, and in the middle of a hush, she said in a very loud piping voice to her mother, I suppose she's thanking them all for coming, she said, which was just wonderful.
Well, she'll certainly be thanking everybody here, I'm sure, as she continues her walk down Castle Hill. From where we are, I can see everybody craning to get a good view of the Queen. Lots of gifts, lots of pictures, special memories that are being handed over from the crowd. And just to tell you that if you're watching this on satellite or cable, you can actually press the red button to get our interactive service. Now that means that you will be able to keep an eye on exactly what is going on the streets of Windsor, all the different camera angles, and you won't miss out on anything here in the studio either. So let's go straight into the crowd and Fearne Cotton.
Thank you, Sophie. Ron and Margaretta, you've got a prime spot right at the front here. It must be so exciting for you.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a marvellous atmosphere.
It really is. It's like a big party, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's wonderful.
And have you been to any royal events like this before?
Yes, we've been to Buckingham Palace for lunch.
Wow, how come?
I was a veteran. I'm a veteran. She invited us to lunch there.
Oh, fantastic.
And also I'm a member, a silver medalist of the Royal Victorian Order, and we come here to Windsor to do that as well. So we see her as much as we can.
Have you actually ever got to speak to the Queen before?
No, I haven't. No.
Will this be the closest you've ever got before?
No, I have been this close before. Last year in Normandy and Aramonge.
Fantastic. And why are you such a fan of Her Majesty?
Well, my family, my late family, always been a great fan of royalty. And so, but the first recollection I have, just vaguely, is the Silver Jubilee of King George V and Queen Mary.
Fantastic.
And I've seen all the major royal occasions.
So it's a real tradition for
since
you.
then. Yeah.
Well, stay in your prime spot right here and let's try and catch a glimpse of Her Majesty.
Yes, let's hope so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you mustn't. You've got to watch out for that. Standing by. Now, Fearne, who's something of a vision in red, of course, we're used to seeing the Queen as a rather comfortable, if not elegant, older lady, but it wasn't always like that. Vivian Westwood, I've got some pictures here of the Queen in the 40s, having something of a dash, I think, there.
Well, I mean, she's wearing couture clothes, and she's got a beautiful figure, and she's in the prime of her youth. And she looks quite stunning, and don't forget the jewellery.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
We all have to have our jewellery.
It sort of rises and falls on the bling, really, doesn't it? There's a lovely photograph here of her dancing with Lord Mountbatten, and that's a very interesting detail, I think, on the skirt.
I don't know. I mean, I hate talking about fashion, but she looks. I mean, she just looks wonderful.
Yeah.
She always did. When we were little, we used to collect pictures of the Queen. We were very pro-monarchy in my school, and we used to have scrapbooks of all these pictures.
You're a big supporter of the Queen these days, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it hasn't always been that way. Back in the round about the Silver Jubilee with the whole punk thing, you're a bit more subversive about it. It's a bit more subversive about it.
Yeah, we were. I mean, it was in a way a sort of message, putting the safety pin.
Yeah.
You too, Queen, can be a punk, kind of.
Well, is she
But,
punky now, do you think? I mean, she looks great. That colour is so eye-catching. She seems a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more trendy, a bit more relaxed these days.
Well, I just wanted to say that what I've just seen on the television, she's not here yet, but she looks lovely. She looks absolutely stunning. She looks important, but her clothes are terribly flattering. She looks awfully pretty and elegant as well. She looks lovely.
What's the job that she does?
Fashion's here to help you, and her clothes certainly help give her this presence. And make her look very, very attractive. Yeah.
Do you think she knows her own style? Because, I mean, we can't escape the fact that we're talking about an 80-year-old woman. She looks absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I mean, there she is working on her birthday, you know, every day, year in, year out, looking sensational. I agree. Yeah, she looks wonderful.
What are we going to call that colour? What's that colour that she's wearing? Is it coral?
I don't know. It's a very, very nice colour. It's almost a carnation, but it's a sort of between a carnation and a rose pink. I'm not sure. It's a very special pink, ever so slightly off, dirty slightly. I don't know, beautiful rose. It's gorgeous.
Will it be inspiring you?
I love colours anyway, and you know, I mean, I like putting different colours together, and the Queen very often wears one ensemble, all in one colour. This is her distinctive look, isn't it? Yeah, you know, so that she's recognisable so easily.
Yeah, now of course you've been made a dame. Many congratulations.
Thank you very
Have you
much.
any idea what you'll be wearing to pick your damehood up in June? Have you decided yet?
No, I've got, no, I haven't. I haven't thought about it. But I don't know, hopefully try and wear a hat. I think it's very nice to have the occasion, on formal occasions, to wear a hat. I'd like to say all kinds of things about why I've changed my opinion about the Queen, but have we got time? I don't know.
Well, she is a very
perhaps.
important symbol, I think, for all of us. And this idea that over the last 25 years, you know, from the punk icon into something that we're all a lot happy about, I think is quite important.
My point was that in the past I used to confuse everything together. I'm older now and I've thought things through. Yeah, and at one time I used to confuse her with politics and feel that, you know, everything that I hated about this country, which I still hate, I've nothing to be proud of in this country. I'm not nationalistic, but I think the Queen is above politics, and that it would be absolutely horrible, for example, if we had a president and that president were associated with a political party that you didn't like.
So
you know?
the Queen does a very, very important job.
It's very, very important to have this hereditary role of somebody who's above politics. And in fact, it's not really a monarchy in the sense that she's a tyrant that can go and put people in jail.
Well, she's more like a chairman,
over
really,
that.
isn't she?
I think she's a diplomat, and I think it's so very, very important for social cement. You know, for focus on social cement. What I'm saying is, I can't be proud of my country, but the Queen is a symbol that we can all adhere to as somebody that represents our way of life.
Our way of doing it. Well, now, you say that because this is a very, very important image as far as I'm concerned. Thanks very much, Dame Vivian. Where you are, there you are. You're the Queen, you're driving along, you've got a flat tire. What do? Do you call the AA, do you call the RAC, or do you do it yourself? Now, Pat Blake, you were in the ATS with the Queen, and I don't see you in that picture.
No, I'm just round the corner, just out of it, which is rather a shame, but I know both those
Was
girls
that deliberate?
No, I don't think so. I have one at home where I am in the picture.
Yeah.
You've cut this short, so
I see. It's our fault, is it? Do you think she would be able to change a tyre now? Of course she would.
Well, I think she probably could. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like none of us actually can change a tyre now because they put them on with a mechanical way, and you can't undo the nuts.
You can't get it. And what about? Because apparently she was very good at stripping down engines.
Well, I don't know that we quite stripped down engines,
Right.
but she knew how to change the plugs and do all those things that you could do with the old-fashioned car. I suppose you could put it that way. You know. Nowadays, it's very difficult. Everything is sealed, and you can't get at anything.
But of course, I mean, it's a very good illustration. She's meant to be an incredibly practical person.
I think she is, yes,
Going through all the palaces, turning the lights off, and
Yes.
and perhaps offering to change tyres.
Well, I don't know whether she'd do that anymore. I wouldn't if I was the Queen, want to change a tyre. But she is, I'm sure, a very practical person.
I love the idea of being stuck on the M40 with a burst tyre and a sort of large black car grinds to a halt. Out steps the Queen and changes my tyre for me.
Yeah, no.
It's a little private fantasy, I think.
Yes, a nice thought. I doubt she would do it, though, no. No, it was fun. It was great fun having her there, I mean, it's 60 years ago now.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be sitting here talking about it.
Well, there we are.
But it's lovely.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing.
Cheers for the Queen as she heads towards us here on Thames Street. She's just been presented to the Councillor Eric Wiles, who's the Mayor of the Royal Borough of Windsor, and his wife, Mrs. Heather Wiles. They actually presented her with a letter of congratulation from the people of the Royal Borough. Plenty of flowers, plenty more flowers, which are all being gathered behind her, just out of view, by Thames Valley Police, who will take them all back inside the castle walls. And now the band of the Irish Guards, as you can probably hear, coming down Castle Hill, and they are going to be repositioning themselves just by the Queen Victoria Monument. The Duke of Edinburgh, 85, in June, talking to the crowds. Oh, it looked like somebody brought her a birthday cake. There he is, an extraordinary couple. And there we are, the cake in the shape of a crown, it seems to be. Now, talking of birthday cakes and an extraordinary age, I have with me two women who are celebrating today, aren't you?
Yes.
Margaret Scott and Anne Woodward, both 80 today. Congratulations to both of you. Happy
Thank you
birthday,
very
Margaret.
much.
Happy
Thank
birthday, Anne.
you. Thank you.
Now, you both were very, very fortunate in that you got to go to this lunch last Wednesday, didn't you?
Wonderful, yes.
Names drawn out of a ballot, and there you were.
Yes. First one out of the ballot box, so I was told.
And what a fantastic experience for you. Tell us about it.
Well, I just couldn't believe it, because when you know you're going into a ballot box, you think, forget about it. But then when they rang me up and said, you were the very first one out, I thought, this is just heaven. It was absolutely fantastic. And the whole week has been wonderful. And meeting the Queen when we went to lunch, that was even perfect. It was, she asked me where I came from, and I said Datchet, which she knew very well, going through Datchet when she comes back up to Buckingham Palace. So we had a little chat about that, and I also told her how beautiful she looked in her green. She sent this morning.
Fantastic. Now show us that, because that is the card that everybody who has turned 80 today has received. That's fantastic, isn't it?
And she has...
Wonderful. I'm pleased to know that you celebrate your 80th birthday on 21st of April 2006. I send my warmest wishes to you on this shared occasion. There you are, signed by the Queen herself. I'm sure that is something you're going to treasure forever.
Absolutely treasure everything, really, and it has been absolutely fantastic. The whole. Well, since I started going up to broadcast myself on the television, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so it has been wonderful.
Did you get much chance to talk to her?
Yes, she spoke as she came in the room. We were one of the first that she spoke to. And, you know, it takes your breath away because she's so wonderful. She looks, if it's possible, she looks even nicer than she is on television because she's got beautiful skin. And you look at her and you think, 80 years old, and when you think how she's amongst all those people walking up and down here, she must feel terribly proud today to think that there's so many people think so much of her, because it's a wonderful turnout, isn't it? And of course, as my friend here said, Wednesday, well, that's a day that you'll never forget for the rest of your life, is it?
And have you followed the Queen, I mean, throughout your life? Well, obviously, you're born on the same day. Is it something you've followed very closely?
The only day I ever met the Queen was when I was 8 years old. And they were coming, the royal family was coming to Paisley. So my mother ran out to Woolworths and bought the three of us red, white and blue badges, 6pence each. That was the only time I met her. But like the Queen, I had 3 sons, Prince Philip, and Prince Charles are both in the Navy, and so was my husband. He was a Fleet Air Arm pilot. My oldest son was a Fleet Air Arm pilot. Sadly, he was killed. He was testing the Harrier GR5 and was sucked 35,000 feet. He sucked out of the cockpit. But he had met him in the wardroom at one time. And my youngest son met Prince Edward when he was doing that Crown and Country series. He interviewed him at Rocket Hall. So, you know, it's been nice having that. So and I brought my middle son with me today, so now he's met the royalty, you see. But she's a wonderful woman. Could you imagine having a job like that yourself?
No,
having to
not
smile,
at all. Not possibly.
shake hands. Oh, wonderful.
Well, you're going to be joining us later on, both
Thank
of you,
you
for
so
some
much.
cake and some champagne. We have our own, so
Lovely,
we'll definitely
thank
make
you.
sure we give you some. Now, let's talk over here to Mr. Rolf Harris. To you, sir.
Excuse me.
Now, I think you have got the grand claim to fame. I think you must have spent more time privately with the Queen than virtually anybody else I can think of, apart from her immediate family, of course.
Yeah, it was the most amazing time painting her portrait because the nerves beforehand, I mean, we had to be in the palace by 11 in the morning and she wasn't due to arrive for the sitting till 2:30. So it was like being up on the starting blocks at the Olympics and waiting for 3 hours before the man fires the gun. You know, it was like the butterflies in the stomach. How will I be? Will I be able to be at ease? And she put me so at ease so quickly. And we talked about the changing of the guard and when she came in and I said there was a big bang and some gun went off at 12 o'clock and frightened the wits out of all of us. And she said, "Do you know what that was for?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Neither did I." I had to ask somebody. And I thought, she's not going to tell us. And I was just going to say, "Well, what was it for?" And she said, "It was to commemorate the coronation. Apparently, every year on this day at midday they fire the gun, and I've never been in Buckingham Palace to hear it before." And she said it scared me as well.
Let's have a look at this because this was obviously filmed for the BBC and there was a whole programme about it. We can see just a clip of you talking to the Queen as you had all that wonderful time with her painting her.
Wonderful. Remember your very first portrait sitting?
Yes. Nasla.
When you were a little girl. Do you keep a lot of the portraits?
No, none. No, they're all painted for other people.
Would you like to keep
No.
some of them? Had enough of looking at yourself?
The trouble is to see yourself aging in front of you.
Does that upset you?
Nah.
Not really.
So it doesn't really bother her aging too much. She looks wonderful today, doesn't she?
She does, yes.
80 years old.
She looks just amazing, and she put me so at ease, you know, when she came in, and it was a delight. I said I was there at the coronation, you know, when she said that was to commemorate. I said I was there. I was out. I had a blanket around me. I was there all night with the rain drizzling. She said it was very cold and very wet. And I said, but you lit up the day when you came round in the golden coach, and she smiled graciously at that.
How much influence did you actually have? I mean, she has had her portrait painted more than 100 times now. How much input were you able to have about what she wore, what she looked like?
Well, they said to me, what do you want the Queen to wear? And it was like, what do I want the Queen to wear?
Surely she should be
And
telling
they
me
said,
that.
yes, you know, you must decide. So I said, well, something very colourful. And they said, we'll bring some clothes to show you. So the week before, they turned up with a long rail of clothes with all her different outfits. And I said, the turquoise, I like that best. I'll choose that. And they said, and what jewellery do you want her to wear? And I went, I don't know. And her lady-in-waiting said, well, she will wear the pearls, but the one she's very fond of, the brooch, is the one that she had specially made for her mother's 100th birthday. So that would be a good one to choose. So I went along with her suggestion on that.
Well, let's just have a look at these pictures here, Rolf, because this is a wonderful moment for these children. There are 150 of them, and they have been brought in from schools in and around the Eton and Windsor area. They have been chosen, some of them. There was one from the Eton Pawnee School I spoke to. There were a group of children who were here this morning, and they've been elected by their classmates. They've been chosen by the class, by the school council. There are only 5.
Yeah, it's lovely to see the little bows that they do, and that some of them are quite accomplished and some of them feel very awkward, but
they're all so
all
excited. They've spent the whole week, they were telling me, making these cards, and some of them have made their own flags.
it's a little one there
Special preparation
taking
for
the
this
photo.
moment.
Yeah, very good. She had it facing the wrong way. She took a photograph of her face, I think, there. She had the camera facing backwards. That's where the face that way. That's it. Walk quick.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them in their school uniforms too, isn't it? It looks
Yeah.
so nice. They do look smart.
Well, there you are. Hand-drawn card. Very nice.
Somehow, of course.
Do you think she gets a special dispensation with the hosepipe ban to find water for all these flowers? It's worrying me.
And of course, the last time we saw crowds like this in Windsor was Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles' wedding, just over a year ago.
Just across the way.
In the Guildhall itself, there she is, just outside the Guildhall.
That's a great colour outfit, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Lovely
stunning,
colour.
isn't it? She looks lovely. Really lovely.
I think also on days like this, you can always rely on her to put on something that she is spotted in the crowd wearing, you know, nice bright pink like that. You can see where she is.
She's got her red roses for St George's Day on Sunday.
People hanging out of every window possible around here, getting the best view possible.
Chaps up on scaffolding everywhere.
Those builders up there have had a great time.
Yeah.
The people who are employing them haven't, you know.
No,
not been doing a
Their
stroke.
roof done.
Well, let's go right into the thick of the crowd now. Fearne Cotton is out there. Did you actually get a glimpse of the Queen, Fearne?
I did. I took the most disappointing rubbish photo on my camera phone ever. It's upside down and tiny, but it was the most exciting whirlwind few minutes there, wasn't it, ladies?
Yes, it was.
How
yeah.
close did you get to the front?
Very close, and she had looked very nice.
Did you get to like wave or say hello?
Oh, no, I didn't, but I see her, and that was very good.
How was the experience for you?
Very, very good.
The atmosphere here, it's amazing, isn't it?
It was lovely.
Brilliant. And why have you come down today, ladies?
Because I just love the royal family.
She's the head of the Commonwealth, and we all love her.
Definitely.
And she done us proud.
Proud to be British.
Yes.
Enjoying the whole atmosphere here today.
Yes, yeah.
And April, did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
You did, and it's your birthday, isn't it, soon? So you share a birthday with the Queen, sort of.
Yeah.
What are you going to get for your birthday?
I'm going to get some Barbie the Peg's toy.
Some toys. Excellent stuff. Ladies, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day today. It has been quite amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
Watching on TV is amazing, but being here,
Yeah.
having the atmosphere.
Oh, yes,
it's quite
it's
incredible.
quite nice, yes.
What time did you get down here this morning?
I get down here about 10:30.
At 10:30?
Yes, and we love her, and she done us proud. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday to the Queen.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, ladies.
Yes,
won't
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
The Queen is patron of over 620 charities, and one of them is just over the garden fence when she's at Sandringham in Norfolk. It's the Sandringham Women's Institute, and Yvonne, she's the president there, isn't she?
She is, yes, currently.
So is a meeting when Her Majesty attends, is that different in any way?
The meeting is different in that we have full afternoon tea, and the members are all got their best
so it's a bit plusher.
Suits on. Yes,
a bit more
absolutely.
business
a bit
class.
more polished.
Yeah, exactly. But so does she join in with the singing? Does she got her own version?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we always sing, you know, the national anthem when the Queen comes in, and then we sing Jerusalem, and the Queen always sings. Yeah, she enjoys singing.
And now, Alan Titchmarsh, are you an affiliate member of the Women's Institute?
Well, no, but I have addressed the Sandringham WI.
Have you indeed?
I have, yes.
As a camp follower or as an expert?
I don't know, a bit of both, I suppose, really. An admirer of the WI, but I was just the turn, really.
Really?
And when they
You've
got
been
all the AOB done, I had to stand up and do my bit.
So what did you... And the Queen was there?
She was. It was only 25 of you.
There was that day, yes.
And they did all their business one side of the long table. It was a village hall, West Newton Village Hall. All their business, and I sat with my wife on the other side, and then we all swapped, and the Queen came round. I love the way she signed the minutes in an exercise book with a biro.
It's the WI minute book, not an exercise book.
Wrong again?
Yes, you're giving away all the secrets.
You get the general tenor, can't you, of this meeting? And then we swapped round, and they all came this side, and I was that side, and I stood up to speak, and it's just alongside a little table like this, and the Queen was sitting where you're sitting, and I stood up. And I said, we're awfully close, aren't we? And she said, yes. She said, you pull, I'll push. And I just moved the table back a bit. But, you know, you always worry about an audience anyway. About, you know, will they laugh at your jokes?
Tough room. WI is a tough village hall.
Well, the prospect is tough. But they were great. And the Queen, when the Queen laughs at something you said, she throws her head back.
She really does laugh, doesn't she? I mean, it's not a kind of a polite giggle. It's very, very hearty. So does she ever try and cadge any gardening advice from you? Like what to do with a ha-ha or,
we
you know?
talked about all kinds of things that she grows at Sandringham because she's there in the winter. Isn't she?
Yeah. I mean, so there's not a lot of colour really in the winter, but she does like her gardening. She's very interested in it. I think she was a little disappointed that he didn't talk more about gardening. But,
why? What did he go on about instead? Ballet?
It's my life in
No,
art.
not ballet. No.
We did talk
story. It was very
gardening.
interesting.
A bit of anecdotage. She caught up on the gardening tips afterwards over tea.
Did she? Sort of asking about the very, very specifics. I mean, I suppose gardening on that kind of scale is it comes with some quite unusual issues.
Oh yeah, but she knows. She likes it on a small scale. She knows plants in her garden that mean something to her.
She does.
She's got bits of myrtle there that she grew from a wedding bouquet. And I know from talking to her head gardeners and from talking to her that she knows more about plants than most people give her credit for. She's quite sharp. She uses Latin names.
So, Yvonne, when the Queen comes to one of your meetings, does she sit there waiting for the tea to be poured, or is she in there with the rest of you?
No, she pours the tea, because we don't all sit at one big table. We have small tables, and the Queen has her table with usually 3 of the members sitting with her, because the members take it in turns, and the Queen actually pours the tea.
Well, you see, you're now in a position to prove a point of etiquette that the entire country has been fascinated by for most of the 20th century. When the Queen pours a cup of tea, does the milk go in first or second?
No, the milk goes in second.
The milk goes in second?
If you are pouring tea into a pure china cup, the cup will not crack if you pour the tea in.
Right. See, now we know, don't we? Now we know. Quickly, the Queen goes in second. Exactly. Oh, well, that's absolutely marvellous. And without tea, of course, we've got a slight problem with wasps falling in at the moment.
Yeah,
this cake is proving so luscious that we're bringing all the wasps out. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that. And now we're going over to Sophie, I think.
Indeed, and there is the Queen continuing down the High Street in Windsor. You can see the car parked behind her, which will eventually take her back inside the walls of Windsor Castle. This route has had to be especially extended. It wasn't actually supposed to be this long, and the Queen, I think at this point, was going to be going back into the castle, but because so many people have turned out, the police have taken a decision to allow the walkabout to continue and for the Queen to continue greeting all these thousands of people. There they are, sipping champagne. Wonderful. We shall be doing that shortly, Rolf, don't worry. I know we've got all these bottles temptingly around. Now, you remember from years and years ago, I mean, your memories of the coronation are still extremely vivid, aren't they?
I'd only just arrived from Australia, and I went there with a friend of mine, and we had blankets round ourselves. We were there on the last possible bus we caught into town, and we sat on the route in the drizzling rain. I had the piano accordion. I was playing Waltzing Matilda to anyone who would listen. And the BBC radio crew came up and recorded me playing it, and it was heard in my hometown. My mother said, "That's Rolf playing the accordion." My father said, "Don't be so stupid, woman. You think everybody playing Waltzing Matilda with singing with an Australian accent got to be your son?" Anyway, my email letter arrived a week later saying it was me, and my mother said, "There, you see."
How wonderful. And what was the atmosphere like on the day?
Just wonderful. The drizzling rain couldn't put anyone off. We were all waiting for that golden coach to come round the corner, which it eventually did, and it was a thrilling moment.
And Wendy, it's one that you remember well as well, isn't it?
Oh yes, my parents and I were living in Shepherd Market at the time, and although we had a television, my mother insisted that I go out and watch the parade go by, and as Rolf said, it was drizzling, but nothing could dampen anyone's enthusiasm or the beauty of the Queen in her coach. And there was a gentleman in the crowd who lifted me up, sat me on his shoulders so I could get a better view of the coach. It was just fantastic, it really was.
And there she goes, continuing down the High Street with the Duke of Edinburgh. Wendy, you had the opportunity to meet the Duke of Edinburgh as well, didn't you?
I
when
did.
They came to EastEnders
yes,
some years
that's
ago.
right. They came to visit the set, and I was to show Prince Philip around. And I said to our then executive producer, John York, I said, "John, I said, I'm not being disrespectful," I said, "but there's an awful lot of walking," I said, "and His Royal Highness is of a certain age." He said, no, they said that he could do that distance. Well, he took off like a greyhound, and John and I couldn't keep up with him, and every time he saw an open door, he was in there. We're going, "Please, please, sir, come out, because it might not be safe in there or something, because the houses are just shells." But he was most interested in everything and all the technical side, and he's a lovely chap to talk to, he really is. And I introduced him to all the cameramen, the camera girls, and the props boys.
Too, doesn't
and
he?
he listened, and he was interesting, and he was asking about the food they prepare for the cafe and all that sort of thing. So I think he enjoyed himself. But he did take a lot of keeping up with, I know that.
And he must have been he has been a fantastic support for the Queen as well.
He has.
They're celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary in November.
Yes.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But, if you watch the programmes about the Queen that have been on the past 2 Sundays, and the way she looked at him, as a young girl, and it was
adoring.
There was that photograph, wasn't there, when the first photograph that people thought was the moment when they realised something was going on, and he'd taken the coat off her shoulders, and there was this wonderful gaze as she looked into young Prince Philip's eyes. Yes.
I think it's theirs. It's a wonderful love story. Long may they be together. I think it's wonderful.
Lovely scenes here out on the High Street. She really does look like she's enjoying herself, doesn't she?
Gosh, yes.
For somebody who didn't want too much fuss. I mean, I suppose this is enough fuss for her.
That lights up everybody's heart, to see that smile, and you know very well when somebody's just putting it on, when they've got a fixed smile on their face, which is a fake smile. You know that, and you feel it. But this is such a joyful, happy smile, and as I said, it lights people up in every direction.
So now the walkabout comes to an end.
There'll be a lot of happy memories for people here today. Yeah. Really, I mean, I'm thrilled to bits to be here. I really am. Really am thrilled. It's great. And the atmosphere of the crowd and everything, all the flag waving, it's wonderful.
Let's hope those little kids' photographs all come out.
Oh, so
yes,
I hope
lovely.
they do. Yes, so they'll have something precious for the day.
With the digital technology, they'll have them instantly, won't they?
One little kid I saw taking the shot and the flash went off right in her eye. She had the camera back to front, so she's got a really close focus shot of her left nostril, I think.
So there they go, the Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen on her 80th birthday. Back towards the castle. And that, of course, is the end of the very public celebrations today. The Queen, we understand, is going to be spending the afternoon here in Windsor. Very fitting that she should be celebrating her 80th birthday here in Windsor, because it is of course, her favourite home, isn't it? And there she goes. And then this evening, there is a dinner scheduled, hosted by Prince Charles at Kew Gardens in the newly restored palace there.
Lovely.
For very, very close members of the family.
They certainly know how to do a festive occasion, don't they, in this country? They know how to set it up and how to organise it, and people are ready to be involved, and they just love it. And
Well,
it's a joy to see.
Let's see what some of the people who've been here today have made of it, because Fearne is with some of them out there in the crowd. Fearne.
Great.
Yep, I'm here with my new friends from Boston. How are you doing, Becky?
We've enjoyed the day so much. My mother was here for the coronation 50 years ago, and we felt it was very important for the next generation to see this bit of irreplaceable living history.
Well, so you're carrying it on right through the family?
Yes, we are.
So guys, did you enjoy that? Was it exciting?
Yeah.
And is this your first time in the UK?
Yeah, it is.
It is, brilliant. But how can you sum up today? The atmosphere's been quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Stokes, you got this most brilliant photo I've ever seen of the Queen close up. It's absolutely a brilliant shot. You're going to email that to me, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Stokes. Thank you. And if you could buy the Queen a present, what would you buy her for her birthday?
Probably chocolate.
Bit of chocky. What do you reckon, Stokes? You had a good idea, didn't you, earlier?
Corgi.
A corgi. I think she has enough corgi. And the atmosphere down here today, everyone's kind of making friends of each other, and you've got some friends back here.
It's been terrific. We've enjoyed this family from near London, and they've been telling us about the history of St. George holiday, and he's an old teacher, so we've enjoyed it very, very much.
It's brilliant, because everyone's just in the street chatting to each other and making friends.
Yes, the whole time. We waited a long time for the Queen and made quite a few friends while we waited.
So you have come over from the States, especially for the Queen's 80th birthday today?
Yes, we have.
That is absolutely brilliant. And why are you a royalist?
As I say, this is something that's been a passion in my family for several generations, so we wanted to pass it on to the next generation.
It didn't disappoint today.
And she really is a wonderful model.
Brilliant. We were really quite close there at the front as well, so
we certainly were.
Enjoy the rest of your stay in the UK.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Enjoyed
Great
meeting you
to
also. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, chaps. That was awesome. Take care, guys.
So now the crowds are beginning to wind their way away from the castle walls. I think you three are providing all the attraction now. Look at this, a bank of cameras. the new stars of the show. It has, when, as you said, it's been. I mean, people are not going to forget this. The people who came here today, are they? I think it was the Queen's father who said to her very, very long time ago, when she was still a very young princess, that the one thing she had to remember was that everybody who met her would never forget it. It was the one moment for them.
Oh,
I mean, it
yes.
must, in a sense, be quite a strain for her on a day-to-day basis. She's
Yes.
really got to keep the front going, keep it going, isn't she?
Well, there you are. You see, she's dedicated her whole life to us. And she does know the meaning of the word loyalty. I mean, I've heard there's a family here today have travelled all the way from South Africa. Never mind people who've travelled from all four corners of this earth to be here early, good and ready to get their glimpse of the Queen. That's how important she is to us all.
It's interesting as well, Alan, hearing the Queen's cousin, Margaret Rhodes, talking this week about duty and how duty has very much been a cornerstone of the Queen's life, all her life.
I think that shone through, and the approach to the monarchy has always been interesting. You know, a lot of sort of highbrow intellectuals say, well, you know, it's really a thing of the past, which really rather insults our forebears to suggest that we don't need monarchy in the way that they did. I think if you look beyond that and you look at the overall role of monarchy, you know, without being too pompous about it, it does offer us this kind of unbroken line, this stability. It is important that she's a figurehead. And as I said earlier, that she's special. And nobody will forget it. The thing she's done, I think, through her life is paced herself. She's in it for the long game. I mean, she is born to be queen and will remain queen until she dies.
No, she wasn't born to be queen.
She wasn't born,
was she?
no,
I mean,
quite,
that was the extraordinary thing
about her. Within a very short time, she realised she would be.
Yes.
And from that moment on, she took on the role better than anybody, I think, would have imagined she would have done. And she has this thing which is nowadays oft traduced, stickability. Stamina, the ability to stick with something and see it through thick and thin, and when things aren't going well too, and not to be blown by the wind. I remember somebody saying, somebody I was sitting next to, I thought she'd have known better to do once. Oh, you thought she'd have been a bit more sort of relaxed, wouldn't you? The Queen isn't a chat show host. She's the Queen, and she brings this kind of regality to it without stuffing us.
She's kept a distance, hasn't she? I mean, there's certainly been a distance at all times, but...
Well, Margot Fontaine said once, you know, that great prima ballerina, she said, it's absolutely imperative that you take your job seriously. It's disastrous if you take yourself seriously. And I think the Queen has done that perfectly. She's taken the job very seriously.
And there you go, you can see scenes of the people leaving the walls of the castle behind. People who've been waiting here for hours. The first who did turn up at about 7 or 8 o'clock this morning for a brief glimpse. A lot of children here today as well, Rob.
Yeah, it's a delight to see, isn't it? And they're just loving it. Loving the whole thing. Planes flying overhead.
No fly past. Wendy asked me a moment ago whether there was going to be a fly past. There's definitely not a fly past, but we've got the planes coming to and from Heathrow.
But the kids will remember this day all their lives.
Lovely.
It's a delight to see, especially the ones who've been spoken to personally by the Queen. And quite often you see that the Queen will say something to them and they're so overawed that they can't think of anything to say in return. And you can understand that, can't you, for a little kid?
Well, Fearne Cotton has got a few people there who've been in the crowd. Let's see if they've managed to speak to her. Any words that the Queen said to them, Fearne?
I have made so many new friends today. It's unbelievable. I've been moseying around the crowd, chatting to people from all around the world. People who have been here all morning waiting, some real Queen fans. It's been amazing, an amazing atmosphere today down here. So, guys, how was the day for you? Did you get to see the Queen?
No.
How come?
Well, because we went to the dentist, so we're a bit late.
No. So did you have any fillings of your teeth out and then you missed the Queen? That's terrible.
Exactly.
But have you ever met the Queen before?
Yes, we've seen her a few times. We saw her, we get taken by the school in the summertime. We get to see her drive down the road with her carriage. It's really nice.
How exciting is that?
It's really exciting.
I bet it is, because I was sort of relatively near the front, but I couldn't really see the Queen very well. I took a really bad photo. It's quite disappointing. How close have you actually got to the Queen?
Well, as Georgina said, we've been to go on trips to see her. So we've been like really close because there's an aisle and then she's coming down the aisle as we're just standing there right in the front.
That is really quite special, isn't it? And how was the day for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Was it very exciting?
Yes.
Now, if you could buy Her Majesty a present for her birthday, what do you think you'd buy her?
A ring and a necklace.
That is very generous of you. I think she'd like that, wouldn't she?
Yes.
And what are you going to tell your friends about today?
I'm going to tell them about I saw the Queen in Windsor.
Did you get really close?
No.
Not that close, no. Did you take any photographs or anything?
Mummy took them.
Mum took some, that's good. So you're going to print those off. That's
yes.
I got one on my phone, but it wasn't very good. And Jane, you're from South Africa, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right, so have you come over especially for this today?
Yes.
Ah, is it been a very special day for you?
Yeah.
You really enjoyed it. And did your mum enjoy it too?
Yeah.
How close did you get when she was doing her route?
I didn't get so close, but I managed to see her.
Is it very special for you? It's very exciting. I've never met the Queen before, and I kind of got as close as I ever will, probably. It's very exciting indeed. Now, guys, how do you feel about popping up here and getting some cake?
Oh, yeah.
We have a very large cake in there, and hopefully they haven't eaten it all. So should we go?
Yes.
Come on, follow me, guys. Let's go and get some cake.
I promise you we haven't eaten it yet, Fearne, but we're about to. Come on, it's your birthday today.
Yes. Yes.
Both of you.
Yes.
A glass of champagne, and I think you should have the honour.
Yes.
Why don't you share the knife?
I'll
hold your champagne. I promise I won't drink it.
Now?
We can start now. Are you ready?
Right.
Happy
Ready?
birthday, ma'am, it says. What are you going to do? Scream at the bottom? Bit of a wish?
Wish. Oh,
Go on, you ready?
Wish, yes. Wish
For the two other 80-year-olds today. I hope that was a good wish.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Has that gone through? Right?
I think that's definitely gone through. Here you are. Here's your champagne back.
You're right through to the floor.
Glasses of champagne, and we definitely need to get one for you. Come on, Laurence.
got one.
I haven't got one. Oh, thank you very much. Here you go, and I shall give that to you. It's your birthday. Wonderful. And Laurence, in charge of the champagne bottle.
Grand Prix styling. Can you pass me some glass? Pass me a glass over here.
There you go.
Fabulous. Who hasn't got one?
So I bet you never thought you'd be
Pat's
celebrating
not
your
got
80th
one.
birthday
No,
like this.
definitely
Yes,
not.
exactly.
It's
we
just
are.
something to remember for the rest of our life, however
All right.
long that may be.
Well, let me just get a glass of champagne. Just time to tell you that tonight, 5 to 6 on BBC1 and on the radio, you can hear a special tribute from Prince Charles to his mother.
Oh,
So please tune into that. You can continue watching the Queen's birthday celebrations over on News 24 right now, but from all of us here outside the walls of Windsor Castle, a very happy birthday to the Queen. Cheers, and to you too.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far, like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
The news now on BBC One with Darren, Jordon and Mike Ramsden. It's 1 o'clock.
A day to remember. The Queen celebrates her 80th birthday at Windsor Castle. Thousands of people line the streets to wish Her Majesty well.
We're here to show our love and affection and admiration for a monarch who has never put a foot wrong.
David Cameron takes a trip to the Arctic as the Conservatives go green. Attacked in the street, police hunt two men who set their dogs on their victim. And is this the soundtrack to success? We hear the song for this summer's World Cup.
On BBC London News, 200 people escape unharmed as power lines collapse onto a train. And police raid a sauna in a crackdown on people being trafficked into London for prostitution.
Good afternoon. The Queen has been thanking the thousands of people who've been sending cards and messages to mark her 80th birthday today. She said she'd been very touched by the greetings. The celebration started earlier this morning with a 21-gun salute, and a huge standard used specially for royal celebrations has been raised over Windsor Castle. Well, this is the scene in Windsor now, where Her Majesty's been greeting thousands of well-wishers on a walkabout around the town. Later, she'll be the guest of honour at a private family dinner at Kew, hosted by the Prince of Wales. Well, Nicholas Witchell is at Windsor Castle now. Nick?
Well, she said that the one thing that she really wanted for her birthday was sunshine, and she just about got it. The Queen has been out, as you've said, and she's done her birthday walkabout this morning in Windsor, a town which, with the help of quite a few others, has been celebrating the Queen at 80. Windsor, on the morning of a personal milestone for the woman whose favourite home the castle has been for most of her 80 years. They brought out the extra-large ceremonial royal standard, raised it over the castle and prayed for wind. In Windsor Great Park, they rolled out some extra small cannons for a birthday salute. More Blue Peter than Royal Horse Artillery, this one. but it worked. And along Windsor High Street were some of the most ardent members of the monarchy's fan club, complete with inflatable corgis and assorted paraphernalia. And what of the lady herself? Well, she's been busy in recent days looking at some of the 20,000 or so birthday cards and 17,000 emails that have been received, each with its own 80th birthday greeting. At midday, the band of the Irish Guards struck up the inevitable music, and out from Windsor Castle came the Queen. How did she look? Well, relaxed and happy, and that, say her officials, is how she is. Touched by the public response to her birthday, and possibly more relaxed and at ease now than she has been for some years. But the Queen has never been one for too much reflection. She's far too pragmatic for that, looking forward, as she said in her speech to other 80-year-olds at Buckingham Palace on Tuesday, to the excitements which each new day brings. Well, this day was bringing a lot. Cards, mugs, flowers, you name it, she was getting it. Each item passed rapidly to her lady-in-waiting and on down a chain of officials. The crowds stretched down Windsor High Street, so on the Queen went, towards the Guildhall, meeting people, many from Windsor, but quite a few from much further afield.
And if you're in the Caribbean, happy birthday.
Canada, yes.
Happy birthday. Long may you reign.
That, you may be sure, is her intention. Elizabeth II at the age of 80, with every intention of going on for a very long time yet. Well, you got a glimpse there of some of those who were here very early this morning to get the best vantage points. And of course, this birthday has also been marked elsewhere in the United Kingdom, as Louisa Baldini now reports.
Today, raise a glass to Elizabeth the Great. And that's just what she is.
The morning paper with birthday wishes for the Queen. The most appropriate reading for these early birds who are among many to reserve themselves a front row seat to meet the birthday girl. This man wasn't taking any chances. He spent the whole night on a bench.
Well, today she's 80. How many people reach 80? She's really looking lovely for 80.
I do remember her in 1947 being on the station platform to welcome her and her sister and the King and Queen to Victoria Falls. I'd like to tell her that, but I don't know whether I'd get the opportunity.
I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to get myself ready to come here.
That's it.
And I won't miss it for the world.
Young and old, the Queen has her fans. And at local schools, lessons have been taken up preparing for today's celebrations.
So this time we might have a privilege to meet the Queen and talk to her.
I made a card for the Queen. It hasn't really turned out that good because she hasn't got a neck.
Oyez! From the City of London, Your Majesty, may we wish you a very happy birthday.
This town crier announced the birthday tribute from the City of London, a gigantic card for the Queen with 2,000 signatures. But birthday wishes have also been coming from further afield. One unusual tribute saw this message spelt out by crew members of HMS Illustrious in the Indian Ocean. Greetings for the Queen in all forms, shapes and sizes on this, her milestone 80th birthday. Louisa Baldini, BBC News.
Nick, so the Queen has had her walkabout. What's the rest of the day looking like for her?
Well, the next thing will be a tribute from her son and heir, the Prince of Wales. He's recorded a special birthday tribute. It's very personal. It's rather touching. It'll be broadcast just before tonight's 6 o'clock news. Then after that, the Queen and the rest of the royal family will be going to Kew Palace, where the Prince and the Duchess of Cornwall will be hosting a special dinner. The Queen, of course, will be the guest of honour, but that will be a dinner, a private dinner, also attended by some 24 other members of the royal family.
Nick, we'll talk to you a little later in the programme. Thank you for the time being. Digital viewers can see lots more on the Queen's birthday celebrations by pressing their red button and selecting News Multiscreen. And we'll be looking back at some of the more memorable moments of her life a little later in the programme. Well, more now on our top story. Celebrations are underway to mark the Queen's 80th birthday today. For 8 decades, cameras have recorded every aspect of her life, both public and private. Here are just a few of the more memorable moments.
The days when the Queen and the Duke could relax with their growing family were more precious for them than for most parents. This domestic life with their children formed a still.
And they have their wish.
Well, let's get a final word now from our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell. Nick, it's been an extraordinary day for the Queen today, and it's been a pretty good week for her as well, hasn't it?
I think it's been a pretty good week for the monarchy, because it's underlined the most powerful assets of a monarchy, a popular monarch who's embodying the continuity which is fundamental to a monarchy, who's been on the throne for as long as most of us can remember, and who, as we've reported on the BBC this week, has not the slightest intention of ever stepping down. She's somebody who's now very much at ease in her role, though of course also in reaching 80 we are reminded that she's not going to be there forever, but certainly on this morning's evidence she's still going strong at the moment.
Nick, thank you for that.
This is BBC1. Now His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales presents an 80th birthday tribute to Her Majesty the Queen.
An 80th birthday is a very special occasion for every family. An occasion for celebration, for giving thanks, and for looking back. As a child, I can just remember my great-grandmother, Queen Mary, at 80. Then I recall so well the 80th birthday of my grandmother in 1980. Now I find it hard to believe my own mother, the Queen, is today celebrating her 80th birthday. And it gives me enormous pride to be able to congratulate her publicly in this way, and to thank her on behalf of us all for the many wonderful qualities which she has brought to almost an entire lifetime of service and dedication to her country, to her family, to the realms, and to the countries of the Commonwealth. It is hard to believe that my grandfather, King George VI, was the same age as I am now when he died, and that my mother succeeded him when so young, the same age, in fact, as my sons are now. I have vivid memories of the coronation of my mother, coming to say goodnight to my sister and me while wearing the crown so that she could get used to its weight on her head before the coronation ceremony. Of thousands of people gathered in the Mall outside Buckingham Palace chanting, "We want the Queen," and keeping me awake at night. Of my parents being away for long overseas tours during the 1950s, and of determined attempts to speak to them on the telephone in far distant lands when all you could hear was the faintest of voices in a veritable storm of crackling and static interference. I remember so well, too, the excitement of being reunited with our parents when my sister and I sailed out in the then brand new Royal Yacht Britannia to meet them off Tobruk at the end of their Commonwealth coronation tour in 1954. A tour that had lasted over 6 months and taken in 13 countries. And of course, there was the thrill as a small boy of witnessing the entire Mediterranean fleet of the Royal Navy steam past the Royal Yacht at high speed, with my mother and father waving to all the ship's companies from the afterdeck. Now, there is no doubt that the world in which my mother grew up, and indeed the world in which she first became Queen, has changed beyond all recognition. But during all those years, she has shown the most remarkable steadfastness and fortitude, always remaining a figure of reassuring calm and dependability, an example to so many of service, duty, and devotion in a world of sometimes bewildering change and disorientation. For very nearly 60 of those 80 years, she has been my darling mamma. And my sentiments today are those of a proud and loving son who hopes that you will join with me in wishing the Queen the happiest of happy birthdays, together with the fervent prayer that there will be countless memorable returns of the day.
This is BBC One. Now the news with George Alagiah in London and Natasha Kaplinsky in Windsor.
Today, gifts galore for the Queen, who said all she wanted was a sunny day. A crowd of 20,000 cheered her on a Windsor walkabout.
We're here to show our love and affection and admiration for a monarch who has never put a foot wrong all her life.
There were tributes around the country, but for one man, this was just his mother's birthday.
For very nearly 60 of those 80 years, she has been my darling mamma.
I'm here in Windsor, where it's been very much a day of celebrations for the people.
And in other news at 6, Cameron of the Arctic. But will the green policies match the green rhetoric? The Columbine copycats, the pupils who plan to massacre their classmates. And will England's football fans embrace this latest World Cup anthem?
Tonight on BBC London, trainee doctors demonstrate against changes to immigration laws, saying they feel betrayed by the NHS. And the Met swoops on the criminals who traffic young women for the capital's sex trade.
Hello, good evening from Windsor, where 20,000 well-wishers lined the streets for the Queen's 80th birthday. Behind me, inside the castle, the Queen is preparing for this evening's celebrations, a private dinner with members of her family at Kew Palace. Here, it's been a day of royal pageantry with a distinctly informal feel. The Queen said she had been very touched by the outpouring of affection from the public. Nicholas Witchell was watching as the Queen stepped out to meet the crowds.
Against the backdrop of Windsor Castle, a private milestone played out in public. Queen emerged to the music of the moment. And on the day she turned 80, there seemed an almost girlish giggle. How did she look? Well, relaxed and happy. And that, say her officials, is precisely how she is. Greatly touched by the public response to her birthday, and possibly more relaxed and at ease now than she has been for some years. But the Queen has never been one for too much reflection. She's far too pragmatic for that. Looking forward, as she said in her speech to other 80-year-olds at Buckingham Palace on Tuesday, to the excitements which each new day brings. And this day was certainly bringing rather a lot. Cards, mugs, flowers, you name it, she was getting it. Each item passed rapidly to her lady-in-waiting and on down a chain of officials. But amid all the gifts and the greetings, none, one must assume, will have been heard with greater interest than the tribute broadcast this evening by her son and heir, the Prince of Wales. He spoke of the country's debt to her.
It gives me enormous pride to be able to congratulate her publicly in this way, and to thank her on behalf of us all for the many wonderful qualities which she has brought to almost an entire lifetime of service and dedication to her country, to her family, to the realms, and to the countries of the Commonwealth.
The Prince recalled childhood memories of his mother and of her long absences on duty abroad, something which in his early life he's said to have resented. But today Charles spoke warmly of her steadfastness as monarch and her devotion as a mother.
For very nearly 60 of those 80 years, she has been my darling mamma. And my sentiments today are those of a proud and loving son who hopes that you will join with me in wishing the Queen the happiest of happy birthdays, together with the fervent prayer that there will be countless memorable returns of the day.
And that, unsurprisingly, was the overwhelming wish of those who today were in Windsor.
Happy birthday! Long may you reign!
Tonight, Elizabeth II will be the guest of honour at a private family dinner being hosted by the Prince of Wales here at Kew Palace. And the toast, well, what else could it be on her 80th birthday? The Queen.
Well, let's talk to Nick now at Kew Palace. Tell us about the evening's activities, Nick.
Natasha, yes, dinner here at Kew Palace. Now, this was one of George III's favourite royal palaces. It was actually to Kew Palace here that he was brought during his periods of insanity. But the venue tonight for a very much happier occasion, this private dinner hosted by the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, attended by the entire royal family, all 26 of them, to honour the Queen's 80th birthday. She's the guest of honour, clearly. She'll be arriving here with the Duke of Edinburgh at about 8:30. There will be fireworks here, and then they'll be going inside for dinner. It's a dinner in quite a small, intimate room, a candlelit dinner. We've been asked not to reveal what's on the menu tonight in case the Queen is watching, but I can tell you that she will be sitting through dinner between Prince Charles and Prince William.
Thank you, Nick. Now, among the crowds here were hundreds of school children who've spent weeks preparing for the Queen's birthday. I spent the morning with the pupils of a Maidenhead primary school and joined them and the crowds as they waited to catch a glimpse of their monarch. A big day and an early start for these Maidenhead primary school children. 25 of the 150 local children chosen to attend today's celebrations. It was a last chance to finish off colouring in their flags and a moment or two to practice what they might say. All were aware that this was a rather special school trip. For 3 of them, this was only their second day in class. Meanwhile, there are preparations of a different sort just a few miles away in Windsor. A last-minute wash and brush up for a town steeped in royal history and a town not unused to hosting royal events. Excited moments as everyone lined up, keen to find the best spot possible. As the Queen came into view, poses at the ready, the long wait was over. But was it worth it? What did you say to the Queen?
We said, "Happy birthday, Your Majesty."
And what did she say to you?
She said thank you. And we all gave her the flowers.
But not everyone remembered their lines.
Did you have a chance to say happy birthday to you?
You know what? That's what I forgot to say, unfortunately. I wish I would have remembered to say that, but I did not say happy birthday to the Queen, unfortunately.
I was very excited and I got up at 5 to come here this morning. So.
You wouldn't have missed it for the world then?
No.
It makes me feel quite goosey and tearful, actually. I feel very emotional to be here. It's just fantastic.
Even those used to royal occasions thought today was one to remember.
This has been absolutely wonderful, and it's so much warmth, and you know, people, they love her. It's as easy as that. No, it was lovely.
So 80 years to celebrate and 80 years to remember. Today will be a day that these school children will talk about for many years to come. And it's not just here in Windsor that people have been celebrating. From Glasgow to Cardiff to the Indian Ocean, people have paid their own tributes to the Queen, as our royal correspondent June Kelly now reports.
In major cities throughout the United Kingdom, this was a day for tradition, as the guns went off around the country. In the Midlands, it was a festive feel for the Queen's contemporaries. The city of Nottingham honoured those who also turn 80 this year. In Leicester, there was a party too for new octogenarians. The Prince of Wales and Prince Harry spent the day in Glasgow, where the emphasis was more on youth. This evening, they're back in London, preparing for the birthday dinner. But before the family celebrations, there was this tribute from the crew of HMS Illustrious to the head of the armed forces on her landmark birthday. June Kelly, BBC News.
That's all from me for now. I'll be back a little later in the programme, but now it's back to George.
Natasha. And now let's get the very latest on today's royal celebrations with Natasha.
Thank you, George. Well, here at Windsor, the band has packed up and the thousands of people who were here have gone home. But they'll be taking with them some memories of a very special day when the Queen turned 80. June Kelly is at Kew Palace, where the Queen is going to be attending a private dinner this evening. June, it hasn't been an easy time for the royal family in recent years, but today is all behind them. It's a day of celebration, isn't it?
That's right, Natasha, and certainly the Queen herself said she didn't want a lot of fuss for this birthday, but I think palace officials may be tempted to raise a glass to the success of all of this evening and feel that they've got it absolutely right. Certainly a decade ago, the royal family were in far choppier waters, but with the Queen's Golden Jubilee in 2002 and this 80th birthday today, the Queen has had some fantastic press, and it's interesting when you speak to people who are perhaps ambivalent about the monarchy, that even they have respect for the Queen and the job she has done all these years.
June, thank you very much. Now I'll be back with a special programme on News 24 in an hour's time. But now let's leave you with some of today's most memorable moments.
Good evening. The Queen is celebrating her 80th birthday tonight with a family dinner at Kew Palace in London. A spectacular fireworks show capped a day of events which began with a walkabout in Windsor, where thousands of well-wishers lined the streets. In a televised address, the Prince of Wales thanked his mother for almost an entire lifetime of dedication to her family, the country and the Commonwealth. Our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell is at Kew Palace tonight. Nick?
Well, indeed, they're sitting down to dinner over there at Kew Palace, just across the river there in the dock. 26 members of the royal family, headed, of course, by the Queen, hosted by the Prince of Wales, and a family looking very relaxed and at ease with itself tonight as they celebrate together the Queen's 80th birthday. The music was Rule Britannia. The person in whose honour it was being played stood at the centre of her family, the rock upon which the monarchy rests. A woman who has today celebrated her 80th birthday, joined by her family tonight to watch fireworks and to share a celebratory dinner. Earlier, against the backdrop of Windsor Castle, a private milestone had been celebrated in public. The music of the moment was played as the Queen emerged, and on the day she turned 80, there seemed an almost girlish giggle. A couple of days ago, when she hosted other 80-year-olds to lunch at the palace, the Queen had spoken about the excitements which each new day brings. This day certainly brought a lot. Cards, mugs, flowers, you name it, the Queen got it. Each item passed rapidly to her lady-in-waiting and to a line of helpers. But amid all the gifts and the greetings, none, one assumes, will have been heard with greater interest than the tribute broadcast by her son and heir. The Prince of Wales spoke of the country's debt to her.
It gives me enormous pride to be able to congratulate her publicly in this way, and to thank her on behalf of us all for the many wonderful qualities which she has brought to almost an entire lifetime of service and dedication to her country, to her family, to the realms, and to the countries of the Commonwealth.
The Prince recalled childhood memories of his mother and of her long absences on duty abroad, something which in his early life he's said to have resented. But today Charles spoke warmly of her steadfastness as monarch and her devotion as a mother.
For very nearly 60 of those 80 years, she has been my darling mamma. And my sentiments today are those of a proud and loving son who hopes that you will join with me in wishing the Queen the happiest of happy birthdays, together with the fervent prayer that there will be countless memorable returns of the day.
And that, unsurprisingly, was the overwhelming wish of those who today were in Windsor.
Happy birthday! Long may you reign!
She certainly has no intention of doing anything other than reigning for the rest of her life. Elizabeth II at 80, the cornerstone of an ancient institution and the guarantor of its future. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News at Kew.
Well, the Queen's 80th birthday is a major milestone, not just for her, but also for the monarchy. So, as she enters her 9th decade, just how popular is the royal family? Thousands of people turned out to pay tribute to the Queen for a lifetime of public service. Opinion polls repeatedly show people think she's doing a good job and want her to keep on doing it. Research for ICM found that 60% of the population support the royal family and think Britain would be worse off without them. Her personal popularity doesn't seem in doubt, but the same poll also showed 71% felt the monarchy shouldn't end with the current Queen.
She's a point of reference for a lot of people in this country. One of the aspects of our common life that doesn't change, because she's a person of total integrity, total commitment, and people really do need those points of orientation.
But 55% of those questioned did say they thought the royal family should be slimmed down.
The question is, how can the monarchy as an institution represent public service, Britishness, multiculturalism and multi-faith society? And that will not be embodied only by the Queen's personality, and that's why the institution will have to reform and change if it wants to be more than something for the history books.
The polls have said overwhelmingly that most people don't want the Queen to stand down, and her closest advisers have made it clear that's something she has no intention of doing. Well, let's go back to our royal correspondent, Nick Witchell, in Kew now. Nick, today, not just a milestone for the Queen, but also for the royal family, and also a chance for the public to reflect on their views of the monarchy.
I think Buckingham Palace undoubtedly would feel that these have been good times, a good week for the monarchy, because, of course, it has focused so much attention on the monarchy's most powerful asset, the monarch. A popular monarch who embodies the continuity that is such a feature of the hereditary system, who's been on the throne for as long as most people in this country perhaps can remember, and who, as we've reported, has not the slightest intention of retiring from her job. A monarch who even those who may not wholeheartedly support the monarchy do respect. But of course, in reporting the fact that she is now 80, that is underlining the fact that she will not be there forever. And nobody is more aware of the challenges that will be faced after she passes on than her heir, the Prince of Wales. He, in particular, does have views on how the monarchy should change. For example, he would particularly want the monarchy to slim down to its core members.
Nick, you mentioned Buckingham Palace earlier. Is the palace pleased with how the events of the day have gone so far?
Yes, I think undoubtedly they are, as I've said, and they will be now looking ahead to the other events, the church service at St George's Chapel at Windsor Castle on Sunday, and then, of course, other 80th birthday events in June around the Trooping of the Colour and the national service of Thanksgiving at St Paul's Cathedral.
All right, Nick, thank you. Well, today's news has been dominated by the celebrations of the Queen's 80th birthday. As with anyone who reaches that age, there have been moments of joy and sadness. We end tonight with images from the Queen's life.